maybe this will be the episode. Maybe this will be the episode where there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe this will be the episode where the MCU starts making sense. Maybe this will be the episode where we're like, okay, like...
Did you see the first star last night and make a wish? Is that what you're alluding to? Because I don't see that happening anytime soon.
It is my ever existent wish.
Loki had the opportunity to reset everything and it didn't. So
well, yeah. I mean, didn't reset. We'll get into that. It didn't reset everything from a canon timeline perspective, but it may have reset everything from a story plans moving forward perspective. So we'll dive into that in this episode for sure. But hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
Zabitim.
My name's Brady.
And I am Kyle.
And we're super stoked to be back talking to you guys about some more movie news. There are some interesting topics this week that we're going to cover. But before we dive into that, Carl knows more about the world. I know more about what's going on in the world of movies than Carl does. Carl knows more about what's going on in the world as a whole. So
I read things that aren't just tabloid news.
I don't read tabloids.
I mean,
do you know how many times
they're kind of tabloid? Like, I mean, it's not tabloid as in like
Vanity Fair is a tabloid.
Fair. I mean, it's. I'm using the term very loosely in that it's...
The Wall Street Journal is a tabloid?
It's Hollywood related.
I have spent so much time on this show
I'll retract the term tabloid and insert the term Hollywood.
Because I was going to say, I've spent so much time on this show shitting on tabloid websites. And like... you know, explaining why they're garbage and you shouldn't be. So just, watch it. All right, Carl, take things away. What are my three choices this week?
Yes, I do have three choices for you again. And these are fun ones this week. I think all three of these are kind of fun bangers and have some interesting real world applications.
So difficult to choose is what you're saying.
Potentially.
Great.
So the first one, I don't know how to like fun word it. So I'm just going to kind of like say what it is. David Attenborough narrating your life.
Oh gosh.
Space Vikings. And cure for male pattern baldness ?
Oh man. Okay. So I think I'm going to immediately rule out the Space Vikings one.
Oh, okay. It's kind of fun.
Male pattern baldness. I mean, that's not an issue that I'm dealing with currently. But it's a thought that crosses every guy's mind at some point in his, like early life, like in his late teens, early 20s. You look around, you see all these bald people. You see these people who are going bald like in their 20s, and you go, "Oh God, I hope not." Right? Not that there's anything. And you know what? Some people pull it off incredibly. Right, when you think about the fact that people like
some pull it off horribly,
right? But when you think about the fact that like if Vin Diesel were to grow his hair out, he's just got like no hair on top, and just like he's whatever that look's called, right? Where you've got it on the sides and the back.
So you just shave it clean.
Yeah, and he rocks it. My uncle has never shaved his head. But has that like no hair on top or in the front look, and it works.
Band of hair around the side of his head,
and it works. like I he's got that, he's got the mustache, and it kind of all goes together real well. And it's just like I couldn't picture him any other way. But oh God, please not me. But David Attenborough narrating your life. I mean, okay, I'm gonna go with the David Attenborough thing only because I know that it's gonna cost a fortune and it's something even though I would never. Well, actually, I don't even know. I don't know if I want Sir Attenborough handed the script of my life, but it's something I would never be able to afford. But oh my gosh, it sounds cool. But I am also really curious in this male pattern baldness thing. But I know that you give me a brief, so I'm kind of cheating because I know you're going to give me a brief little rundown of all of them anyways. So I'm choosing Sir David Attenborough because how can you not, right? It seems like God himself chose Sir David Attenborough, so I must also.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with Space Vikings. Norway is starting a space program, a commercial space program. So it's not like a government run thing. There's some rich dude in Norway.
Right. It's like the Elon Musk thing.
Yeah. But here, I'm gonna send you the link to this article and the picture of the launch pad and where it is, and it's just like, yep, that seems like a Norwegian space program.
That's where the Bifrost would land.
It's very, very sparse. There's like this nice, beautiful mountain range, and it just really looks like a pier out on this nice lake.
You have to wonder. I've always wondered, like, when it comes to the Elon Musk thing, and then now this, surely there's, like, I don't know, like, nobody owns space, right? Like, space is like international waters. Right?
Yeah.
It's just it's the old West.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, so there's, because of that, there must be limited regulating that you can do, but there must be some kind of regulations in place, right? Like, it's bizarre to me. It's a weird transition that for years and years and years and years and years, the only space travel that was being done was done by the government, right? You had NASA, you had whoever, the Russian program, you had all these other world governments.
Yeah, it was usually government led.
Yeah. And so now that we're in this era where, like, there's privatized space travel and privatized space exploration, it's just kind of this, like...
Yeah. And it's privatized, but there's also, like, government incentives and funding poured into these private. So like SpaceX is a privately owned space organization.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And like they recently just did a test flight for their what do they call it again? Not their Starship. They're calling it Starship. Right. This massive thing that's going to be able to ferry tons of equipment and people and stuff to space to then eventually hopefully take them to like Mars and beyond.
Which, if you've ever had any doubt that Elon Musk is just a total nerd, naming his thing so Starship.
Yeah. So like, and like they just had a successful test flight like in this last week, I think it was. I was reading up on it a little bit today. Anyway, that now SpaceX has like, I think it's like $20 billion in NASA funding because they have a partnership with NASA to take stuff to space for them.
Right. And also probably, hey, we'll give you some money, but you have to promise that anything you learn or discover.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
you're going to share with us.
You do stuff for us. You share with us some of the technology that you built so we can improve our own tech. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so this Norwegian thing is just like another billionaire doing the space program thing. But yeah, and it does kind of make a lot of sense that space travel is becoming privatized.
Right.
Because there's a lot of resources in space. Like they had it's NASA, I think it's NASA, mostly NASA that I read about, but I'm sure other Russian and now Indian and Chinese, and they have satellites out there that are scanning asteroids and stuff that are like super mineral, like rare mineral rich.
Right.
And very useful minerals. Right. So getting to space is step one. And then figuring out how to mine and extract and use those resources is step two. Right. So
the whole thing just feels like it's one step closer to Star Wars. Like it just feels like it's one
Star Wars or Star Trek or
like just one. Well, no, we don't talk about Star Trek, but it feels like it's one step closer to like being able to hop in the Falcon and just get off world.
Just go. And it's really cool. Like so, this is cool that Norway's got a homegrown space program, but I just love this picture of their quote unquote space launch platform and stuff. It's I'm sure it's just funny.
To give you your little Star Trek thing, I thought of this a couple minutes ago and I wasn't going to say it because I was like, nah, it's stupid, and it is still stupid, but I'll say it anyways. Man, for Elon Musk, his whole like Starship thing, that's quite the enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. I see what you did there.
Right? Yes. All right. But we didn't choose this one, even though it seems like kind of we did.
Let's rock on. Okay, real quick. A research group. I don't know what an institute. Rensselaer's Polytechnic Institute.
Yeah.
Scientists there have figured out how to successfully 3D print hair follicles in the lab, growing on human skin. Which they've also figured out how to 3D print human skin, by the way. So
and then the hair follicles will just take, and then it's just like
they just grow naturally. So they're not like, so when I think of 3D printing, because I'm a geek and I do like miniature wargaming and stuff, I think of like resin and plastic, but like this is like bio 3D printing.
It's like organic,
like
weird
food. But so
see, this stuff will only truly start interesting me once it's like, because there's all kinds of crazy things that you can do, right? They'll like take hair out of your ass and put it in your head and like stuff like that, but it's all like if you've got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. Like these are
when
not
it becomes a home procedure, then
things.
you're in.
Then you know what? Then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, now I can grow a mustache, or
anyway,
whatever it is.
If you've got hair loss, you can look into that and be hopeful.
Yeah.
But you chose David Attenborough.
Yes.
Narrating your life. And you're suspecting that this is like expensive because he's actually going to do it or something by the sounds of it.
Oh, this is AI.
But no. This is AI. So this genius developer dude used AI to clone David Attenborough's voice.
Right.
I'm going to link this to you because on your own time later, you're going to have to watch the video because it is so cool. And then he linked the AI to his camera, which takes a picture of him every 5 seconds. And then David Attenborough, like clockwork, quickly narrates the picture. And it is literally like a wilderness documentary thing. Like it opens up with David Attenborough being like, this what's the scientific term for humans again?
Homo sapiens?
Here we find a Homo sapien in his natural habitat, wearing silver-rimmed glasses and a flock of red hair. It's so cool. And like, so as he's doing, like, he holds up a cup and David Attenborough narrates how he's drinking from a cup and it's probably life-sustaining H2O. And it's so cool.
Yeah,
AI is scary in some ways, but this is so cool.
I am down for this as long as this is just a personal project and he doesn't make it available for others.
Yeah.
Because
it's probably a personal project. I can't imagine he would make it available for others because he'd be in a world of hurt lawsuit wise. Well, but the fact that he's done it opens the door to other programmers who could be like, "Oh, I can do that."
Yeah. Well,
like,
but
I
then
bet you Aaron Mader, friend of the show, could easily reproduce this program.
The thing that starts getting me though is, just like you said, like the first word even in the headline is unauthorized, right?
Yes.
And we're going to get into
Absolutely.
talking about that today when we talk about the fact that the writer strike has ended and the deals that have been made and the deals that haven't been made and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those like, because it's David Attenborough, because it's an actual well-known person who you could pay to do this, it's just that slippery slope of like,
I agree.
Now it
doesn't make it any less cool.
you've crossed a line, but the tech is cool. The fact that it's possible is cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm all for this. You know, if this exact thing was have your life narrated by an epic sounding generic voice, then absolutely make it available to the masses, sell it, make it, and then there's still kind of this, well, are you putting actual voice actors out of work and stuff like that? But it's far less intrusive, far less like slimy, I guess, than being like, because then you get into like it, because then there's no reason why someone couldn't be like, well, we're kind of really hoping to have David Attenborough narrate our documentary.
Let's
right?
Just use
and
this
then
AI clone.
Let's just use this AI clone. And then, anyways. But no, that is super cool. That is super cool. And for the record, again, if I had the money and could get real life David Attenborough, Brady was born in a small town and be so good. Be so good. All right, let's jump into our main topics for today. Now, we have said many times on this show, what is the purpose of a trailer? Do you know, Carl? What is the purpose of a trailer?
To inform and excite.
To take whatever your excitement level is for a project and bump it up. Make you more excited in the project that's coming. So keeping that in mind, the first trailer for Sony's Madam Web has dropped. Now, you would be forgiven if your response was, wait, what? Because there hasn't been, I've been very aware of this project. We've talked about this project a little bit on this show, but it hasn't been sort of this widely talked about upcoming film. So I think a lot of people, when this trailer dropped, this was their first time hearing about it. And potentially, well, not potentially, for many of those people, also their first time ever even hearing the name Madam Web, right? Like it's not like, oh, there's a Spider-Man movie coming out that nobody knew about. This is a Madam Web film. And a lot of people are going to be going, who the hell is Madam Web? And you'd be forgiven because Madam Web is not an A-list comic book character. But I was excited for this. I was excited for it nonetheless. I still have faith in what Sony's doing over there with the Venomverse. Morbius notwithstanding. I like the looks of the Kraven trailer, even though, yes, they've sort of taken a lot of liberties with the character's origin and who the character is and stuff like that. I still think it looks sick. That's fine. I'm 100% okay with adapting characters and presenting new iterations of them and so on and so forth. So I was excited for this trailer. I'm excited for what they're doing. I'm excited for any potential crossovers that could happen with the MCU. In post-credit scenes, we've already seen that that's possible. We've seen Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock get sucked into the MCU and then almost immediately spit back out again without them really doing anything with it. They did leave a little drop of the symbiote behind. I don't know if that'll ever turn into something or not.
Yeah.
I kind of hope it does, but we'll just kind of see. This trailer did not succeed for me in what a trailer is supposed to do. In fact, this trailer kind of had the opposite effect. I was looking forward to this project. I am still looking forward to this project. I will watch it when it comes out. Absolutely. You and I will almost assuredly talk about this in a review for it. But this trailer sort of drove home for me the concern that a lot of people who do know who Madam Web is had about this project coming up, which was, why Madam Web? Like, of all the characters that you could do, why Madam Web? And this trailer drives that home because, listen, her name is Madam Web. The logo has spider webs in it. There's all this talk of like, when my father was in the Amazon studying spiders and, and whatever else. But there's really, and we see who do we see? Do we see Black Cat pop? There's a couple of like cameo faces that pop up real quick. We do see a very MCU looking, like the mechanical spider arms coming out of the back of a suit. We see her taking a picture of a spider web, but there's no moment in this trailer where our hero is in particularly spider hero looking garb or really demonstrating any sort of spider related super abilities in the slightest. But the trailer keeps sprinkling them in, right? It's like, don't forget, this is a Spider-Man adjacent film. Look at the Spider-Man looking characters.
Yeah.
Look at the logo.
Get excited because it's kind of like Spider-Man, but not.
But really, it isn't. Right? It's kind of like we're doing the May Parker film. Is right? Like, I don't know. I watched this trailer and my excitement went from, oh my gosh, the trailer's finally here, to what the hell is this?
Yeah.
What the hell is this? So it took my excitement level and actually dropped it down a little bit. Carl, you watched the trailer. It's possible. See, and I'll admit, I don't know a lot about Madam Web from the comics. There's a good chance that you know even a tiny bit more than I do, for sure. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Did this trailer work for you? If you do know stuff about Madam Web, does this seem consistent with who the Madam Web character is? And are you excited for it?
Honestly, I didn't even know this was coming.
Okay.
I seen the trailer scroll across my feed before you ever shared it in the show notes with me, and I watched it. And when I first watched it, I was just like, "What is it? This isn't the Madam Web I'm familiar with. No. What is going on? Who are these other ladies? Okay, now why are there a bunch of them in spider suits? Who's this Spider-Man that's not Spider-Man?"
Because in the comics, isn't Madam Web like old as dirt?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and I brought the wiki up and read it here before we got started real quick, because that's who I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with old as sin Madam Web, whose name is Cassandra Webb.
Which is a little on the nose.
She's, yeah. Well, I mean, it's Marvel Comics. Yeah, so she's the original Madam Web. Now, the Madam Web, quote unquote Madam Web we get in this is a character named Julia Carpenter, who at some point when Cassandra Webb is dying, she passes on her gift of clairvoyancy to her. But prior to that, she's a Spider Woman, and she was introduced back in, it says here, when I look at her wiki, we can look at Julia Carpenter's wiki, she was introduced in the original Secret Wars in 84.
In 84, yeah.
In
and that's
6.
the Julia Carpenter that I know is
she was
Spider-Woman.
She was Spider-Woman, became Madam Web. Madam Web came back from the dead because the Spider-Man clone, Ben Reilly, resurrected her. And I guess Julia lost her clairvoyancy, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah.
Which is clearly not the route they're going. Sorry, I'm moving my mic. Clearly not the route they're going here. Like, this Julia Carpenter does not have a past of being Spider-Woman.
Yeah. And so here's my big thing. One, why? Why this? What is, like, because this is a Sony Pictures movie.
Yep.
Like, what is Sony doing with this? Like, what is their plan here?
I have no idea anymore.
Like, you've got Spider-Man. You've got Tom Holland. Why are you wasting your time making Kraven the Hunter, making Madam Web, make a Spider-Man film where Madam Web is a main plot point. Make a Spider-Man film where Kraven is your primary villain. I mean, as interesting as it on paper as it is to have the story of the villain from the villain side, like, you know what I mean? Like, where the villain is your protagonist for the film. Nope. I don't think anybody really cares in reality. I mean, I don't really care that much to watch a Kraven the Hunter film. I don't really care to watch a Madam Web film.
Even though it looks badass.
Yeah. On paper, that's what I'm saying. Like, on paper, this seems great. But in reality, I want to see Spider-Man have to deal with Kraven the Hunter. I want to see Spider-Man get pulled into Madam Web's webby world and have to solve the problems, right?
Well, and especially if you look at the other projects that Sony has lined up for this universe, right? Like, at some point next year, we're supposed to be getting an El Muerto movie. And it's like,
yeah. So
why? And my guess, if I had to guess why Sony isn't doing a straight up Spidey movie outside of their Spider-Verse, their animated Spider-Verse films, is because they are probably looking at what, I mean, you know, technically the Spider-Man films, even though they're part of the MCU and they're also being made by Marvel Studios, they are still Sony films as well. So an argument could be made that they have been making Spider-Man films. But why are they not just doing one on their own? And my guess is that they don't, as long as Tom Holland is still doing Spider-Man, they don't want to introduce a non-Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes.
And B, because Marvel, even though Marvel's been here, there, and everywhere quality-wise, although because they've been knocking the Spider-Man films kind of out of the park, they've been doing a really good job with the Spider-Man films, my guess is Sony is maybe looking at Marvel and saying, we don't want to really mess with that right now. Like, we don't want to make a film that changes the continuity or screws with the plan that Kevin Feige has or does whatever, because we're just going to end up shooting ourselves in the foot here.
Yeah, and that makes some sense.
Yeah.
But
I think they're going to wait until Kevin Feige says, no, that's it, we're done.
But there. But the last Spider-Man film introduced that there's Spider-Mans across the multiverse and they're not the same actor, right?
For sure.
So you could easily bring back one of the previous Spider-Man and make and kind of marry that to your Venomverse somehow. Like, oh, hey, yeah, they are in the same universe somehow. Or you could just introduce a new Spider-Man and it's an alternate universe from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
Right, like...
Which then begs the question, is Tobey and Andrew's Spider-Man portrayals, are those alternate universes caused by branch timelines? And that's why everything's so different? Right? Like,
yeah. I think the answer there has to be yes. Like,
it has to be yes.
There's any other way that works. But yeah, like you can go back to Tobey or Andrew and continue those. I don't get this, what Sony's doing here, and it's not interesting, and I'm not that interested.
I think what they need to do...
There are some there are some legitimately very interesting action set pieces in this trailer, but they don't do enough to make the trailer interesting as a whole.
Right. What I want them to do, and yes, they would have to retcon like one line for sure. But outside of that, I think it would be completely feasible. The line that they would have to retcon is that when Venom is sucked into the 616 MCU, he sees the image of Spider-Man on the TV as though that's the first time
who's that
they've ever heard of or seen Spider-Man.
Act like, I've seen that guy before.
Right. So as long as you retcon that, which that happens in a post-credit scene, and I think post-credit scenes, like, if anything is retconnable, it's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
There's no reason, because there's been no crossover in the villains that they've done yet. There is no reason why the Spider-Verse, the Sony Venomverse, could not be the Andrew Garfield verse. There's no reason that couldn't be the same.
Yeah. Universe. And that's what I was saying, right? Like, you could easily marry the Venom /Morbius /Craven. Like, if that's all supposed to be one universe, you could easily marry that with Tobey Maguire's, I would say. It would be harder to marry it with...
you can't do it with Tobey Maguire. There's already been a Venom.
Yeah, that would be next to impossible. But yeah. Andrew Garfield, you could do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I don't get about this trailer is, like, what's up with these other 4 chicks that... Julia Carpenter is so interested in. Why are they there? And then why do they apparently, because they're the ones that end up in like the spider suits we see later.
Yep. Like,
where are they seemingly this is an origin story.
Yeah.
Right. So this paramedic who starts the movie out without having powers, and these other girls who start the movie out without having powers, seemingly all end up with very similar spider powers, and then somehow end up getting some high-tech spider suits. And like, I mean, this show's got a lot of heavy lifting to go from point A to point B.
To be fair, that is also the way that they would do, like, they pull that shenanigans in the comics all the time. But that's another great example of why stuff in the comics doesn't always translate word for word and detail for detail onto the big screen, because
it works in the comics because in the comics they run into a Tony Stark.
Right. Absolutely.
Or an Ant-Man, or they run into somebody who does have the tech, who can set them up.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it doesn't happen in the comics. But they can't do that here because there's no Tony Stark. There's no other. They're not throwing another super in here who can equip them the way the comics would do.
At least that we've seen in the trailer. And that's the thing, right? This could be a really good movie with a really bad trailer. Right? That's completely possible. Right? This could be a great film and just a garbage trailer, and whoever put this trailer together should be demoted. But all that being said, with the real purpose of a trailer being to take your excitement level and bump it up, it sounds like for both of us, this trailer has not achieved.
Yeah.
It did not hit its mark. Moving on, talking about another trailer, and a series that you and I think it's the next one in our hopper here, is What If Season 2. The first trailer for What If Season 2 has dropped. Now, we talked a couple weeks back about the episode plot details, right? We talked about the titles of the episodes that were coming. So we know a little bit about what Season 2 is going to look like already. And I would say I had the list up as I was watching this trailer, and I was kind of scanning through the list, and I think that this trailer confirms that list pretty solidly. There's a lot of things in here where I'm going, okay, yep, so that would be that, and this is that storyline, and this is them talking about that, and so on and so forth. You know, I'm not a massive animated person. I never have been. You know, you'll go on all the time. Carl will go on about, the animated DC stuff. And I get it. Like, I understand that the animated DC stuff is widely considered to be some of not only the best DC stuff that's out there, but some of the best animated stuff that's out there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
especially
they've
for
just
like
been hitting
comic
the mark.
book stuff.
Yeah. But it just doesn't interest me. Right? Like, for whatever reason, it just doesn't, if I'm going to watch something animated, I either want to watch a classic thing from when I grew up, or maybe the new Pixar film, or, if they do a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3. Like, that's kind of the neighborhood that I live in for animated stuff. Now, so saying that, season 1 of What If, I thought was fine. I thought some episodes were more interesting than other episodes. It ultimately, it doesn't crack my top 10 favorite Marvel products. Like, it just, it's just not my thing. And I would say that my reaction to the season 2 trailer is very similar, right? Like, this looks fine. This looks great, right? It actually dawned on me while watching this trailer that there's a possibility that What If could be the series that actually makes sense of
the
multiverse in the MCU for us, right?
I had the exact same thought.
There's so much room.
Especially the way the Watcher kind of narrates this trailer.
Yeah, the Watcher could like literally one line of exposition from the Watcher could clear everything up.
Yeah.
And make everything make sense. Yeah. But whatever. So yeah, I think the trailer looks fine. Sure, I guess. Like, it's just not, it's kind of one of those none of these stories, unless they somehow, and this would be wild, and I think it would be a really poor decision on Marvel's part. And having said that, I think it's exactly the type of decision that modern day Marvel would make. Because I was about to say that none of these episodes really matter or mean anything, because they're all happening in other universes, and it's just kind of like fun little offshoots.
Yeah.
But at the end of season 1, and then it looks like, we get a couple of shots confirming that in this trailer as well, they kind of took those universes and took those characters from those universes and kind of mashed them together and made a thing out of it, right? Because it was by the end of season 1, there was a little bit more throughput in the story. It was less of a week by week and became a little more serialized. Mm-hmm. What if they somehow tie what's happening in, because it seems like a pretty big story that's going on within What If. Like, it's a universe threatening. Ultron's out there. He's doing his thing. What if, and I'm just going to keep saying what if, what if what's happening in this show somehow rears its ugly face in Secret Wars?
Yeah.
I think it'd be stupid because, again, that is taking the audience that is going to see what would it be at that point? The 6th Avengers film. And like your biggest melting pot films. There are MCU fans that only go see the Avenger films and don't care about the other stuff, right? Like those are your biggest widespread reaching films. It would be taking that and making the assumption or having what if added as a prerequisite for the Avengers. And that would be completely boneheaded and moronic to do. But it is exactly the type of thing that Marvel seems to be in the business now of saying, well, you haven't seen everything else, so this is not for you. This is not going to make any sense. And
it's not like they haven't done that already because
exactly.
WandaVision to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Absolutely. Right? It all of a sudden it was completely a requirement. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, great. I'm excited to. And you know what? Maybe when you and I sit down and we review this week to week, maybe my opinion will be changed. Maybe I'll go, this is incredible. But as of right now, I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's something that's coming up.
Yeah.
Carl, what are your thoughts on this trailer?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. The What If comics were some of the comics I regularly bought. Because I didn't like the month-to-month serial stories. I lived in the country, so I couldn't always reliably get them.
Reach civilization.
Yeah. Being a kid without a mode of transportation that takes me there reliably and not wanting to bike that far. Or my parents probably wouldn't let me when I was that young too. But anyway, so I liked like the short... series issues that are like 4 to 8 issues and the story's done. It's easy to kind of get all of them. And I liked the what ifs because the what ifs were like one issue standalone, and within that what if, it's just like one of these episodes essentially, right? Where it's telling the story about like what if Loki got Mjolnir instead of Thor kind of thing, right? And oh man, like I really like them. So the first season of What If I really enjoyed. I liked the way they kind of married all the kind of episodes together a little bit with kind of having the multiverse Avengers and taking out the Mega Ultron with the Infinity Gauntlet. I thought that was really, really cool. And this just like, yeah, even if they didn't kind of do that overarching storyline, I would be all in for this. Just because you can tell essentially whatever story you want and it doesn't matter.
Right. Has no bearing.
It doesn't affect whatever else is happening. And you can just go nuts. Like couple of the shots in this are like, what if the Avengers decided to play Let's Make Cars with Guns and Go Race? Right? Like, what if what was the name of that? Not Metal Gear, Twisted Metal, the Twisted Metal video game, which was a pretty decent TV show they made for Amazon Prime. I think it was Amazon Prime. But anyway, like, what if the Avengers were in the Twisted Metal universe? This is essentially what that looks like. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. Yes, I would love to see that. 30 minutes of that. Yes, please. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Cool. All right, moving on to a big one. Not the big one, but a big one.
And there should be a warning here. Potential spoilers. If you haven't watched Loki.
No, not for this topic.
What? Wait, hang on. Oh no, right. That's after this one. Sorry, jumped the gun.
That's the big one.
That's one of the big ones.
That's one of the big ones. No, the actor strike is over.
Yay!
It's done. We're back to work. It's happening. It's exciting. It's amazing. I'm so freaking happy that finally boneheads have shook hands and made nice with other boneheads. Oh, it makes me happy. So, But who won? Who won and who lost? And how did all these agreements? Because
They both
sides,
won and we lost.
And no, wow. So both sides, both the actors and the studios, both had, as we were talking about, I think last week or the week before, they both had unreasonable requests, right? Both of them. What they were after was both stupid, right? So what the actors union wanted was their sticking point was residuals, right? And they were after, now that we're in the world, the land of streaming, they wanted residuals on every single subscriber, every person who clicked on and watched an episode of whatever, binging it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. They wanted residuals in perpetuity for every subscriber that a streaming platform had, and also wanted residuals on those subscribers whether or not they watched the project that actor was in, because the assumption was, well, it's at their fingertips, they can watch it whenever they want, right? And so that's what they wanted, and that was ridiculous, and that was never going to happen. What the studios wanted was to be able to pay the actors a small one-time fee for scanning an actor's likeness, and then to retain the right to be able to use that actor's likeness in any project, anywhere, at any time without the actor's consent. Which I thought the whole residuals thing was boneheaded, was about as dumb of an ask that you could ask for, until the studios asked for this, and then there was a new reigning champion for the most ass-backwards, stupid, whoever asked for this should be fired kind of thing. Like, I was just never even, like it's so dumb. Like, I can't even. So, how did both of those sticking points shape out in the end? Well, residuals, which have been around in the industry for a very long time, right? Actors would perform in a television show, and every time that show would air on TV in a rerun, the actor would get paid residuals for it. Now, those residuals, was a whole complex system of how those payouts worked. And each time the show aired, the actors made a little less and a little less and a little less. And you can hear actors talking about, like, oh yeah, we got a check last week from whatever show I was in the 90s, and the check was for like 87 cents. Right? Because it became less and less and less and less.
Right.
Residuals are done. Residuals are gone. Residuals are now a thing of the past. Does not exist. Now we have essentially a bonus system. And so the way that it's going to work is, let's say that you're in a project for Netflix, right? Or your project goes to Netflix. If within a certain window, within the first couple months, first month, whatever it is, your project earns X many, it's a certain percentage of the existing subscribers to that platform, or new subscribers signing up to watch that, or whatever it is, then you will get a bonus. Then you will get additional money back for your project. So basically now, what was residuals is a bonus system based on how successful your project is, right? If you're in a project that is super lame and nobody cares about, and not enough people end up watching within a certain release window, then you just don't get that bonus, because your project didn't bring enough value to the streaming platform. So why would the streaming platform then turn around and give you an additional kickback for for your project that didn't bring enough value to the streaming platform. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
The AI thing. This was the big one. The AI thing, and this sounds pretty good. I mean, the way that the industry works is every 3 years they have to get together and rehash these things out. And normally everyone's pretty much in agreement and it doesn't result in a strike. So all of these details are going to get rehashed out in 3 years anyways. So maybe this AI thing will change. Maybe they'll discover that, oh, this didn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out. But basically the way that the AI thing is going to work is that a studio can scan the actor. So let's say Morgan Freeman appears in a film. The studio has the right to scan the actor and use that scan as long as the work that they're doing with that scan is for post-production on the film that scan was taken for, and no other additional unrelated projects. Right?
It can only be used for whatever the film the scan was taken for.
Yeah, so basically...
And any future film, they have to do a rescan and repay.
And within that film, they can do whatever they want without the actor's consent. Right? So which is normal. If you're an actor in something, you don't get to choose what you say, you don't get to choose what you wear, you don't get to choose what your hair looks like.
There's also a bigger thing here. Like, they can choose to, like, okay, we're going to scan you, go home, we'll call you to do some voiceover work later for a live action film. Right? But this is what I'm hearing. But the actor still gets paid the full price as if they acted in it.
No. So that would be production. This is simply post production. So this is
instead of doing
scene,
reshoots, they could just use the scan.
In this scene, we decided that we weren't happy with Morgan Freeman's character stands up a couple seconds earlier than we wanted him to. Well, they can digitize Morgan Freeman to make him stand up a couple seconds later and then blend that in with the actual performance that Morgan Freeman gave. Does that make sense? Or we needed Morgan Freeman to say this at this moment and he didn't. Or Morgan Freeman had... he blinked and we'd rather him just, actually win the staring contest or whatever it is. So they're able to go in, they can change the clothes you're wearing. They can, Morgan Freeman turned his head right and we were hoping that he would just keep looking straight forward. Well, they can go in and make it so that you didn't turn your head. Right. But they can't say, hey, we want you to be in this project, but we don't actually physically want you in the project. We just want you to voice it afterwards, because that would be production. This is just post-production. This is to alter someone's performance after the performance
the actor still has
already been given. Yeah. Now, I heard someone talking about this online, and we haven't actually seen the agreements, right? Like, these are summaries that we've been given. And I heard someone online voice a really interesting concern. And that was that there seems to be some gray area here in that what, if anything, is preventing someone like Steven Spielberg. I'm not saying this is just a name. I'm not saying Steven Spielberg would do this. But what if anything, is preventing Steven Spielberg from taking scans of whoever, de-aging them the way that Hollywood's been doing and getting better at, unless you're Disney, unless you're Star Wars for some reason, and saying, you know what, I'm for the 40th anniversary, we're going to re-release a director's cut of Jaws. And we're going to go in and, there was this one scene that I didn't, I wished this character had showed up in this scene and the character didn't. And so I'm going to stick them in the background now. We're going to de-age them. We're going to add in a scene that wasn't there in the first place. Right? For essentially for people to start George Lucasing all of their projects. Because if George Lucas still had control over Star Wars, this new agreement would usher in a new updated remastered re-release of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hands down it would. Right? All of a sudden you would see Boba Fett take off his helmet at some point.
This agreement wouldn't work in what's the legal perpetuity? Is perpetuity the back when it works backwards?
No, that's forward in retrospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
can't imagine it works backwards.
And I don't know. That's one of those things, right? We don't have the actual documents, the signed agreements in front of us. And so there's a lot of those little caveats. There's a lot of those little, amendments that we don't know. And so that's why I'm saying it's quite possible that in 3 years there may be some like, oh, okay, hang on a second. So-and-so has been exploiting a loophole here. And so we're going to fight back again. It may result in it. Like this is entirely new territory, right? And so every 3 years in the past, for the most part, when this stuff is negotiated, the industry looks pretty similar to the way it did before. We're just kind of like, yeah, are you still happy with this? Yeah, we're still happy with this. Hey, we want a little bit more. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Here you go. Right? And so it doesn't result in a strike. Both the new residual system and the AI agreement are brand new agreements. Brand new, vastly looking different agreements. And so it's quite possible, I think, that in another 3 years we'll see another strike because these agreements just haven't had the years of details getting ironed out that the previous ones did. So right. I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Carl, sorry, I got like a frog in my throat today. Who do you think won here? I mean, you already kind of jokingly said, although maybe it wasn't a joke, that they both won and we lost.
We lost.
We absolutely lost. But what are your thoughts here? Do you see any issues with either of these agreements, or does this seem like sort of the logical outcome for these sticking points?
I mean, I guess this seems logical. I don't know. And then, like, at the end of the day, they're both the actor side of things. They're going to be making more money,
right?
And the studios aren't going to be making less. Like, it sounds like they're going to be making less, but they're not, because they're just going to pass that buck on to us. Yep. Which is why we lose and they both win. Like, the studio isn't going to be making more money, but they got some of what they wanted, which is going to kind of help them save money, and then whatever costs them money from the increase in paying actors, they're just gonna your Netflix subscription's gonna go up again, and the movie ticket prices are gonna go up again, and we lost.
We lost. Yeah, son of a gun. What do you think about the AI thing, though?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with it. See how they work it and what happens with it.
Yeah. Because I just you know what I mean though. Like I don't want a re-release of Batman Returns where Michelle Pfeiffer all of a sudden has a new scene that she wasn't in before. And it's not just like they released a previously deleted scene. They made a new scene.
They like CGI get rid of the bat nipples.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, some changes are good changes. But okay, moving on. And yes, if you have not seen Loki season 2, we're going to talk about some spoilers here. But also Loki season 2 has been out for like 2 weeks now. And so my assumption is if you were wanting to see it and you care about spoilers, you've probably already seen it. So there's your warning. It seemed pretty cut and dry. So you had pointed out, and then I had watched afterwards, that Tom Hiddleston sort of at the end of Loki season 2 had done an interview saying that, this is not only the conclusion of Loki season 2, it's the conclusion of Loki, it's the conclusion of 14 years of my life and 8 films and 12 episodes and so on and so forth. And he said that it's not shocking that at some point I would be moving on, even with the MCU continuing on around me. So that seemed pretty cut and dry. And then when you took that statement and you placed it against the backdrop of the end of Loki season 2, it kind of made sense, right? It kind of made sense that like maybe Tom Hiddleston's done playing Loki. Like presumably he's kind of stuck in that chair, right? Yeah. Like he's not able to go and reunite with Thor and hang out and get all buddy and and whatever. Now we theorized that maybe Secret War will, like, when all of the timelines then become one cohesive timeline again, then that would presumably eliminate Loki's position, right? And then he's kind of released and he's free to go again. But it seemed pretty cut and dry that Tom Hiddleston was done. He was saying he was done. And there you go. Well, Tom Hiddleston then went on and did another interview where people were asking him whether or not he was ever going to return, right? Will you ever play the character again? And they brought up the fact that the producers had been hinting at wanting to reunite Loki with Thor at some point. And Tom Hiddleston said this: "It's so hard because I'll be completely honest with you. I have at least twice in my life said goodbye. I've written to Kevin Feige and have been like, thank you so much. It's been the role of a lifetime. They've written notes back saying, come and see us anytime. You're always a part of the family. We're always here. You've given us so much, and tears have been shared. So I think I'd be unwise at this point to be conclusive about any of it." And that's really interesting because, there's been at least 2 times in Tom Hiddleston's career where either the characters died or this is I'm certain that when Tom Hiddleston received the script for Infinity War, where Loki gets his neck snapped and is dead, at that point there was no, he hadn't received the message, or maybe they hadn't even gotten that far, probably hadn't gotten that far in the planning process about Loki, the show. Yeah. And so Loki, that was goodbye.
If the show was in existence somewhere, it was on a Post-it note on Kevin Feige's wall amid thousands of other Post-it notes of potential directions to go.
Yeah. And so Tom Hiddleston saying he said goodbye twice already. And then they've found a way, or, whatever happens, and the MCU comes knocking. And so
so I think that would be the second one. The first one must have been when it was like the end of if the first Avengers film, probably when he was captured.
Probably where he's captured, because at that point he had done Thor, and then he'd done Avengers
and Dark
and at
World.
the end, and at the end of Avengers, he's just going and being put in prison, presumably for all of existence, because they're Asgardians. And so that would have been the first time, because at the end of the second one makes it very clear that he's not dead, right? That he's on the throne, he's hiding out, pretending to be Odin. So that's not a goodbye. No. And nor is the end of Ragnarok. Yeah. So that would be probably the first time. So he's basically just saying, look, I haven't gotten a call.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a call. There's nothing in the pipeline for me that I know of. And this seems pretty cut and dry as Loki's finale. He has also said that he will play. He's one of the actors that has said, I will continue to play this role as long as they'll let me do it.
Yeah.
And so if they come knocking, and I see a lot of good reasons, a lot of justifiable excuses to have him show up in Secret Wars. A lot of justifiable excuses given his new position, right? As God of stories.
No, just Loki God, remember?
Loki God, yeah. Or
God Loki, rather.
I think he'll return, but I also think that he is, in that statement that he gave about, this is the conclusion, this is whatever. I was watching someone online and they put it this way, and I think this is fantastic. Fantastically accurate. I think he believes it. I don't think he's lying.
Yeah.
Right? But also when
for him right now, he's literally in the same position he was at the end of
Right. But when George Lucas said that The Last Crusade was going to be the last Indiana Jones film, I think George Lucas believed it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of one of those, anything can happen. And yes, this is Tom Hiddleston saying goodbye, but it's also the third time he's done so. So maybe. And I think we'll see him again. Full stop. I think we'll see him again. What are your thoughts on these statements, Carl? Do you think we're going to see Loki again? Do you think that's it? He's done. It's time to move on. What are your thoughts?
I would be happy if we never seen Loki in the current MCU Tom Hiddleston Loki. Like, if they do something to reboot the MCU, which I am for. Like, that's just kind of like a side rabbit hole tangent here. Like, I think that the MCU should reboot at this point, and I am for it. And I think they should do it akin to the way comics usually do it, in some kind of grand event that kind of resets everything. And
it sounds like that's going to be Secret Wars.
The characters kind of change. Sometimes the origins change slightly. Sometimes characters from the previous kind of before the reset make their way into the new continuity, like Miles Morales, right? So I think like with Secret War being a slated film, I hope to God that that's what Secret War is. I hope that ends with a reset to the MCU and we start kind of fresh. I would be so for that.
Like fresh with, like, in the sense that like all new actors, or just okay,
new actors, new, like, can be same characters, like, or just like do away with those characters. And like, for those that didn't listen to the Loki season, there was a point in Loki where I thought this could have been the moment they reset the entire MCU, and they didn't. And like, I kind of had a mini pitch / dream about like how they could have done it, and where, like, imagine your films, the beginning of your film is the end of the first Avengers film. And you see the aliens attacking New York right at the beginning of the film. And then you go in for that circle around your hero's shot. And instead of circling around Captain America and Thor and Iron Man and Hawkeye and Black Widow, you're circling around the X-Men. Right?
Right.
That would be that I would be totally down for that. Anyway, Loki. Can they bring back? I think
which they're never going to do. By the way,
no. But I think
that's never going to happen.
Anyway, they could bring Loki back. I think one of the breakdown channel I watch on YouTube, it's called Screen Crush for anyone that's interested. It's kind of this kooky little setup they got where it's like a dude in a video rental shop breaking down videos and movies and TV shows. And anyway, they kind of did a thing where like they were like, this is how we think they could bring Loki back. And not only that, but kind of deal with the whole Kang story too. And it was really cool. And the synopsis of that is that Loki, the Loki season 2 is all about like that Ouroboros loop, things looping back on themselves. The end is the beginning. Destruction is creation. The only reason we know about this book is because I wrote this book in the past, kind of thing. But I don't remember writing the book in the past or whatever. But only anyway. So they kind of talk about how like this isn't the end of that story. Their theory is like this isn't the end of the story. Eventually, the Kangs will come for Loki, and Thor will somehow be in there, and then Thor and Loki will fight the Kangs, and that will be part of this big Kang war. And somehow through that, he who remains will end up back on the throne, which will end up bringing Loki back. And so I don't know how. Yeah, they're essentially just kind of continuing that loop, which I don't know how at some point you can't keep that loop narratively for MCU stories. Like you can't tell new stories if you're constantly telling the same story. So yeah, I don't know how you'd break that loop, but it was a pretty interesting video. I think they might have gotten into that. I don't remember it very well. I kind of was busy doing something while I was listening to it, but it sounded intriguing. So, it's possible to write a way for Loki to return, but it's such a nice ending, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
either way, I'm fine, but I personally think he'll probably return.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Big news. I mean, really heart-melting, soul-crushing news. It turns out that the John Cena Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie that none of us knew existed or was coming has been canceled.
Oh, go figure.
Literally, the news came up that it had been canceled, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This was a thing? Now.
Joins the ever-growing dumpster of canned Looney Tunes films.
Well, so here's the thing, right? So they came out and they said that it was being canceled. Let me pull up the link here. It said, with the relaunch of Warner Brother Pictures Animation in June, the studio has shifted its global strategy to focus on theatrical releases. With this new direction, we have made the difficult decision not to move forward with Coyote versus Acme. We have tremendous respect for the filmmakers, cast, and crew, and are grateful for their contributions to the film. That was a spokesperson for the studio. And everyone went, oh, wait, what? Like, literally, the say what? Cried out across the nation. Now, then, a couple of days later, some news started to come out. Some statements started to come out from people within the industry who had been to a test screening of this movie. People like Lord and Miller, like big names, like big directors and well-respected people in the industry. And all of them who had seen this film said, this movie's incredible. Not only is it the best Looney Tunes film that's ever been made, which would be, I guess this is the fourth, right? We had Space Jam, Looney Tunes Back in Action, What Were They Thinking? Space Jam 2, and then this. They said
I feel like there's another one in there, but yeah, okay.
Maybe
there's only a handful.
Not only is it the best Looney Tunes film ever made, but it just is like, it's laugh out loud, make you cry, tug on your emotions. Like, this is a phenomenal film. And so word started to get out that all the people who had seen it loved it. Thought, this is fantastic. And so Warner Brothers has pulled a little bit of a U-turn. They're still not going to release it. They're not going to stick it in theaters. They're not going to drop it on HBO Max. But what they've said, or I guess it's just called Max now. What they've said is that it is basically now for sale. They are going to kind of, shop it out to whoever, whatever, hey, Apple, you want to put this on Apple Plus? You want to, maybe there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on it still. Maybe there's, whatever. Hey, Netflix, you want this? You can have it. You can buy it off of us. This can be yours, right? So it sounds like it may still come, even though we never knew it was coming in the first place. And It sounds like if it does come, that could be a really great thing. Like it could be the Wile E. Coyote movie that we never knew we needed. I mean,
it's like
Wile E. Coyote. If you're talking about, it's like they don't what?
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to. I was gonna say something, then you were gonna say something. It's like the Warner Brothers doesn't trust its IP to at least make, maybe not like sell out at the box office, but even just do well in general. I mean,
Looney Tunes are, I think, akin to the Muppets right now, right? In that both properties, anything that's come out from both of those properties in the last however long have felt very, hey, just wanted to remind you that we're still a thing. We're still a thing, remember? Remember us? Remember Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
You remember? Right. Like it's not.
But they're always like Looney Tunes Back in Action didn't do great at the box office.
No, but I like it.
But it was still really fun.
It's so fun.
Right? Like
Steve Martin as the villain.
Space Jam crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Back in Action didn't do as well. Which, were you aware that there was going to be a Skate Jam?
With Tony Hawk, yes.
Yeah. I didn't realize this till like a week or two ago when I was watching Hot Ones and they had Tony Hawk on.
Yeah, and that's where I saw it too.
He was talking about it. And I was like, what? We missed out on a Skate Jam with Tony? Are you kidding? And apparently it's because Back in Action didn't do well that they just canned Skate Jam. But then like I just Googled like other canceled Looney Tunes. Apparently they were going to do like a Spy Jam with Jackie Chan, a Golf Jam with Tony Hawk. Yeah. So like there's a few other listed in here.
It seems weird. You mean Tiger Woods, not Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk
maybe a little
golf.
But like they would have been fun. I think they would have been better than doing Space Jam 2 with LeBron James. And then taking like very early on being like, hey, at some point in this film, early on in the film, all of the Looney Tunes are going to be CGI versions of themselves instead of the Looney Tunes that you know and love. Yeah.
Yeah. It's boneheaded.
So like, oh man, like the Space Jam thing was really cool. And then the Back in Action was really cool because it's like, what if they are part of our world now, kind of creating this Looney Tunes verse essentially, like like an alternate reality of our world where they actually exist and interact with us, kind of like the Muppets. And for me, that works, and that would be a lot of fun to see. But like this, for me, the Space Jam 2 is a horrible idea because you're going back to the same trough of food, the same well. You're going back to the same well, but that well's
Trying to
already
recapture
empty.
lightning.
You already emptied that well. It's dried up. Go to the next well. Go to Skate Jam. Do something with. You can use the same formula, but do something a little. Change it up. Do something different. Right.
When was Spy Jam supposed to happen?
I don't know. I just have this. There's this YouTube video I've got brought up. I'm reading
the only reason I'm wondering. 1996. Okay, so Spy Jam was planned as a American live action animated live action / animated action adventure spy comedy with Jackie Chan. Here's the thing, and there's even a poster. I think that Jackie Chan is a weird pick if you're doing Spy Jam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's 1996. You're doing Spy Jam, you get Pierce Brosnan. You get
I see
James
what you're
Bond
the
himself.
actor's the wrong pick.
Yeah, I think he's the wrong pick. For Spy Jam?
Yeah. The
right?
Yeah, there's also another one in here called Race Jam, which I'm not sure what in this video. Where'd it go? Race Jam. Who are they? Oh, that's like NASCAR or something.
With what's his name? Jeff Gordon?
Yeah, one of the racers. It's definitely NASCAR.
Yeah.
NASCAR guy. But yeah, like that seems so cool to me. Way cooler than Space Jam 2 ever sounded. And it just feels like Warner Brothers doesn't trust their like iconic IP to at least make them some money.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not going to win any awards. It's not going to sell out a theater and be number one at the box office. But it's going to be good enough that it's going to make money and people will enjoy it. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, like even if it feels like what you were saying, it's just like remember we have this IP. I think it's enough that you're promoting your cartoon that you can do, like, even though Saturday morning cartoons are kind of dead, you can do like a Saturday morning cartoon and people will be now kind of interested in watching this cartoon again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. No, I hope this happens. I hope someone picks it up and decides to release it, because it sounds like there's a better chance of that happening than the Batgirl movie at this point in the category of shelved Warner Brothers projects.
So this one's featuring John Cena. So was this supposed to be called Slam Jam and it was like wrestling?
No, it's called yeah, right. No, it's called Wile E. Coyote versus Acme.
Oh.
So
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got the article up and it's right in the title, right?
Which Wile E. Coyote segment of Looney Tunes was always one of the better segments, right?
Wile E. Coyote's my favorite character. You're well aware that I have that it is, because I have that Wile E. Coyote mug from
tattoo
back
on
in the
your
day
butt. Yeah.
Yeah, and the tattoo. I have that old KFC mug. I think they were from KFC. Anywai. Man.
I don't know.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote's the best.
Back when places gave out good things.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our final topic, and this is the big one. And I'm not going to talk about spoilers because the spoilers are Loki season 2. We've already, if you're still listening, you're on your own. One of the big problems with the MCU that you and I have talked about is the direction that they've taken with Kang. Right? Kang was first promised to us as the new big baddie. Right? The person who was supposed to be our new Thanos. Right? And we are now several projects into seeing Jonathan Majors as Kang. And I want to premise all this by saying Jonathan Majors, every time we've seen him on screen as Kang, has crushed it. He's done a great job.
Absolutely.
In that role. But Marvel's really dropped the ball with Kang. They have really dropped the ball.
Yeah, whether Jonathan Majors is in hot water in real life or not, the Kang storyline so far has been
hot. It's just a mess.
It's not even lukewarm. It's cold. I would say the reception to it is cold, despite the phenomenal acting by Jonathan Majors.
The only reason why anyone at this point would think, "Ooh, Kang's really a threat in the MCU," is because we've been told that he's a threat.
Yeah,
he doesn't feel like a threat.
No,
right? We have seen 3 Kangs now across 4 different iterations, 4 different projects. Right?
We're not including the Council of Kangs at the end of
that
Ant-Man.
Stupid football stadium full of so stupid. We had Loki season 1, Loki season 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Am I missing one? No.
Nope.
3 Kangs, 3 projects. Now,
well, 2 of those Kangs are kind of the same.
Maybe.
The
So
Loki
we don't know,
ones.
right? We don't know. We don't even know. And that's the thing, is we don't even know. We don't know if Kang, we don't know if he who remains is Victor Timely. We don't know. And I don't think we'll ever get the answer to that. And then Kang the Conqueror, who was taken out by an ant in one film.
Yeah.
So
Conqueror he turned out to be.
It just kind of seems like they've missed the mark in, I'm not even going to say in their portrayal or their iteration of Kang, but just in like we're counting down now to Kang Dynasty, and I'm not scared of Kang. I was scared of Thanos. The second Thanos shows up on screen, you're like, oh crap.
Do it myself.
Yeah.
Puts on the gauntlet. It's like, oh crap, he's got the gauntlet?
Yeah. Well,
How many stones does he have?
Even at that point, even if you didn't know what the gauntlet was, he had this like foreboding presence to him. So,
and then you see him kind of talking to Ronan the Accuser in the first Guardians movie, and he's like, Ronan the Accuser is your big, mean, scary bad dude for that film. And
he's Thanos' bitch.
And yeah, exactly. Right. Which makes you fear Thanos even more. Like they really did a great job at building Thanos up to be a big, scary dude.
So a couple of interesting things have come out this week. First of all, and we've been talking about this book a little bit now. I need to get my hands on this book. The MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, right? Which was the book that we talked about. It had the Wanda stuff in it about whether or not Wanda was actually dead or not. These guys that wrote this book are the official insiders, right? They have the best connections outside of Marvel to Marvel at this point.
Yeah. They're not official Marvel people that wrote it, but they got of all the people to have the inside scoop, they're the scoopiest.
They
got the biggest scoop.
And so in a podcast recently, one of the co-writers of the book said that Jeff Loveness, who was the writer working on, was it the writer? Hang on. Yes, was the writer working on Avengers Kang Dynasty. He says Jeff Loveness is no longer working on Avengers 5. Or she says, sorry, that Jeff Loveness is no longer working on Avengers 5. I heard from someone recently the screenwriter Jeff Loveness, who wrote Quantumania, was supposed to write Kang Dynasty. Anyways, it's confirmed that they are no longer working on the project. They also said that he has had it confirmed to them it is no longer working for Marvel. I asked the person why, and they said the reason why is because he was all wrapped up in the Kang storyline, and they are likely going to be moving away from that. And we also found out a couple days later that the director who is attached to Kang Dynasty is no longer on Kang Dynasty. Marvel Studios will now search for another filmmaker to take charge of the ambitious MCU event movie. And it sounds like whoever does take the gig is going to be very busy for the next few years. According to Jeff Snyder, Kevin Feige ideally wants the same director for both Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret War, which is essentially going to now be a two-parter. Snyder says also that a title change may be imminent. It now seems clear that Marvel will take steps to veer away from the planned Kang storyline, either replacing Jonathan Majors as the villain or ditching the character altogether to shift focus to a new multiverse saga big bad. Now, there's a couple of things to talk about here. Number one, if you are going to ditch the Kang storyline, now is the time to do it. For two reasons. One, your clock is ticking. Right? You're running out of time. Unless you're going to delay everything by 5 years. Number two, whether it was intentional or unintentional, just a happy coincidence, or there was some last-minute pivoting. You know, we heard that there was all kinds of reshoots happening on Loki Season 2. We didn't know what that meant. We didn't know if it was a result of the Jonathan Majors thing. But what if the decision to move away from the Kang storyline is now 6-8 months old? And a part of those reshoots was deciding to put Loki in that chair and to have that establishing scene where now one of the primary mandates of the TVA is to just keep an eye out for and deal with Kangs as they pop up.
Keep Kang in check. Keep him from growing to become any kind of real threat.
Yeah. Right? We see Mobius go, oh yeah, I got another file here. There was a Kang popped up. He's all taken care of. No big deal.
Yeah, they dealt with it themselves.
Yeah. And so you now have, whether it was intentional or unintentional, the end of Loki Season 2 has given you an out. It is completely reasonable moving forward that Kang is not an issue because of the restructuring of the TVA. It's possible. So, and I hope, like, some people are going to say, if Marvel does this, it shows a sign of weakness, it shows a sign of poor planning, it shows a sign of whatever, screw you. This shows that Marvel is smart enough to pivot and realize that what they're doing is not working out and that they're going to right this ship, as opposed to just being strong-headed and going, nah, screw all you guys. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing and to hell with you.
We hit one iceberg and there's 10 more on the way, but that's the course we've set, so we're going to run into all 10 of them.
Right?
No. There's more coming. Let's actually turn the ship away from danger.
So I think this is very possible.
The damage.
I think it's very possible that they're moving away from the Kang storyline. I think that, and I mean, here's the thing. There have been conflicting announcements as well, right? Someone came out, where is it here? Someone came out and said, they said that they are still, despite recent rumors to the contrary, it seems Marvel Studios is still planning to forge ahead with its big Kang-focused arc, but the character might be recast. According to insider Daniel Reichman, the studio is still committed to the Kang storyline, but there may be a chance Majors will be recast. They will almost certainly wait for the outcome of his trial to make any kind of official announcement, but even if the actor is found innocent, they may still cast 'cause damage done. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the rumor out there, one of the big rumors out there anyway, surrounding the Kang storyline kind of not moving forward is that Dr. Doom will kind of take the new helm of.
Well, and that was the other thing that I wanted to bring up was that I think that if you are going to get a new big baddie in there, now's the time to bring in Doom. You pivot a little bit on your Fantastic Four storyline.
Yeah. Doom fits with kind of the direction of the MCU with the upcoming Secret War and Fantastic Four and stuff. But also, to me, Doom is a far more nuanced and interesting character than Kang.
Yes.
Like Kang can be and is a scary villain in the comics. But like as we've seen with Loki, he can also be very complex and complicated character to tell a story for because he's kind of everywhere all at once throughout time in the universe. Like, you know, like he's this time manipulating guru guy. Like he comes back as different people, different versions of himself and different ages and things like that. Kind of the way we've seen a bit in Kang, in Ant-Man and in Loki. So that can be interesting, but it's complicated. Where Dr. Doom is just, you know, there's a lot of nuance there, and he's an interesting character because even though he has villain tendencies, a lot of what he does this is comic books Doom. A lot of what he does is for the protection of his country. Like his country of Latveria in the comics is like one of the most prosperous and healthy, like people who live in Latveria love it. It's a great place to live. You don't have to worry about anything. You get like, it's an amazing country to live in because of the way Doom rules over it. And then there's also so that's kind of an interesting part of the character of Doom. And then also like one of the reason Doom is so fanatic in his grasp for power in the comics is he's doing it to save his mother, who was a witch who is now who's dead and now in hell under Mephisto's iron grasp. Who's Mephisto's a version of the devil, essentially, for those who don't know who Mephisto is. And in the comics, Doom has made a deal with Mephisto that he fights him once a year, and if ever Doom wins, Mephisto has to release his mother. Right. And Doom always gets his butt kicked because Mephisto's like this is an all powerful being almost. But that's why he's got this in the comics. He's so his being of who he is so wrapped up in magic and tech and just brilliance in his mind and thinking and strategy, and so he's a way more compelling character in my mind. Mm-hmm. So I think he'd be the best direction to go. It's who they should have went with in the first place, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's lots of things they could do. They could do the Parliament of Doom storyline. They could do, like it's Secret Wars, and it's, no matter what Doom story they do, they're going to have to, like, it's still going to have to be multiverse centric, right? Because we are still at the end of the day dealing with the multiverse until they wrap that out.
Yeah. They've already kind of made that bed, and we have to sleep in it. We don't have a choice.
Yeah. So I hope this happens. I hope they, even if it doesn't end up being Doom, even if it's someone else, I hope they ditch the Kang storyline. It's got nothing to do with Jonathan Majors. It's got nothing to do with Jonathan Majors' performance. Like I said, I think he's knocked it out of the park every time we've seen him on screen. I just think it has 100% to do with the fact that I'm just not. They haven't succeeded in getting me interested in Kang, or feeling like he's a big threat. And I hate that we've now killed off two of them and prevented one of them from even really becoming Kang by going back and not giving him the book. Right? Like it's just this, for being the new Thanos, he's so easily, like, what is scary about him? Just that there's so many? Because they individually, they seem pretty easy to deal with. Pretty easy. He who remains the one at the end of time was just stabbed him. That's it. Just stab him. Yeah. Right? So I don't know.
Even though he had a backup plan, Loki just had to, like, okay, I'm not going to choose to resurrect you. I'm going to essentially take your place.
Yeah. So right. So if you have people like Sylvie and Ant-Man taking out Kangs, what happens when you get Kang on screen with Shang-Chi and Captain Marvel and all these people, right?
Well, like, to be fair in that comparison, Sylvie's much more impressive because she's still the god of...
She's still, sure.
Tricks and Asgardian and all that, but...
Sure.
Yeah, it's still like... He went out in a punk way, even though it was Sylvie who did it.
Yeah.
A Loki variant.
Anyways, I hope it happens. Let's move forward. Let's correct this ship. Let's make things make a little more sense. Maybe they Palpatine Snoke it, right? Maybe Doom was pulling the Kang strings all along. Maybe I don't know, right? There's lots of different things you could do to try to make sense of all this. But I certainly hope they do it. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the news.
That's all.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. We have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show and get things in return, like exclusive content, increased voting power, and so on. And just, the satisfaction that you're doing a good thing and helping the show continue. And we have merchandise.
Do we have Christmas merch?
No.
I don't see any. Or we should have, like, limited time Christmas merch.
Get your Movie Man stocking.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I wouldn't even use that, so I don't know who.
Well, maybe there's some fanboy or girl out there that really likes your sweet, sultry voice and would listen.
Because the thing about a stocking is it's hard to. You have to offer multiple sizes, right? Because everyone has a stocking size preference.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right? Like, some people are like, whoa, that stocking's not big enough for all the things I want. And other people are much more reserved and going, well, no, that's obnoxious. I want just like a nice little cute, like, just give me a bar of soap and some Slim Jims. And I'm good to go, right? I don't know.